statistic and probability. Central limit theorem without replacement. So, if you remember last time, ang central limit theorem natin is with replacement. So, ngayon, we will proceed to without replacement. So, ano ba yung difference ng with and without replacement? So, in central limit theorem, with replacement is with repetition of number in a sample. Pero sa without replacement, it is without repetition of number in a sample. So, I am going to use same example na ginamit ko sa with replacement para makita nyo yung difference niya. So, here is the example. List all possible sample of 1, 2, 3 with the size n is equal to 2 without replacement. So, pag sinabi kasi natin without replacement, it is the without repetition of a number in a sample. Pero it is also a central limit theorem where we are considering the order of the number selected. So, kahit parehas sila ng number, for example, 1 and 2, 2 and 1, pero magkaiba sila ng order, so it is also part of the sample. Pero sa without replacement, pag magkapareha siya ng number, hindi pwede. So, for example, we have here the observation and the sample. So, yung sample natin is, nag-start siya sa 1, 2. Hindi siya nag-start sa 1, 1. Dahil, pag nag-repeat siya, it is part of the with replacement. So, since we are here in the without replacement, so dapat without repetition of number. Kaya, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, and 3, 2 ang ating sample. So, kung mapapansin nyo, wala yung 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. Dahil, yun po ay ang repetition of number. So, para mas lalo pa tayong magkaroon ng kaalaman how to understand this central limit theorem without replacement, let's proceed sa ating example. So, example 1. So, ginamit ko din dito yung same problem sa with replacement. So, consider all possible samples of size 2 that can be drawn with replacement, that can be drawn without replacement, so without yan, from the population 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, eto po ay without. So, without replacement, from the population 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, next natin is the table, which is the sample. So, sa sample natin is, dapat meron tayong size of 2. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. Next is 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4. And the last is 4, 1, 4, 2, and 4, 3. So, eto po ay without repetition. So, wala po tayong 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 4, 4. So, after natin dito ay to get the observation. So, bibilangin lang natin. So, this is observation 1, observation 2, 3, 4, and hanggang 12. So, we have 12 observation. So, after natin makuha yung sample and the observation, we will proceed to next column. So, yung next column natin is the mean. So, paano ba natin nakuha yung mean? So, add the 1 and 2, then divide sa sample size. So, add natin to 1 plus 2 is equal to 3 divided by 2 is equal to 1.5. 1 plus 3 is equal to 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. 1 plus 4 is equal to 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 divided by 2 is equal to 1.5. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. 2 plus 4 is equal to 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. 3 plus 4 is equal to 7 divided by 2 is equal to 3.5. 4 plus 1 is equal to 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5. And 4 plus 2 is equal to 6 divided by 2 is 3. And 4 plus 3 is equal to 7 divided by 2 is equal to 3.5. So again, before proceeding to another step, i-check muna to. I-double check natin tong mean of the sample natin or the sample mean. So after natin ma-check to, saka tayo mag-add. So we will add this mean. So 1.5 plus 2 plus 2.5 plus 1.5 plus 2.5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2.5 plus 3.5 plus 2.5 plus 3 plus 3.5 is equal to 30. So this is the summation of mean is equal to 30. So after getting the sample mean is we will proceed to next column. So this is only the sample mean. So to get the mean is summation of sample mean over n is equal to 30 over 12, which is the observation. It is equal to 2.5. So 2.5 yung ating mean. So next is proceed tayo sa next column, which is the sample mean minus mean. So eto po ay sobrang medyo dahil kailangan tama yung sample mean natin and also the mean. Kung magkakamali tayo sa pag-a-add at sa pagko-compute ng mean, or dito pa lang magkamali na tayo sa pag-a-add ng ating sample mean, maaapektuhan yung ating mean. And then pag naapektuhan yung mean natin, maaapektuhan na tong fourth column natin. So dito ay mag-iingat na po tayo sa pagko-compute. So sample mean minus mean is equal to 1.5 minus 2.5 is equal to negative 1. 2 minus 2.5 is equal to negative 0.5. 2.5 minus 2.5 is equal to 0. 1.5 minus 2.5 is equal to negative 1. 2.5 minus 2.5 is equal to 0. 3 minus 2.5 is equal to 0.5. 2 minus 2.5 is equal to negative 0.5. 2.5 minus 2.5 is 0. 3.5 minus 2.5 is equal to 1. 2.5 minus 2.5 is 0. 3 minus 2.5 is equal to 0.5. And 3.5 minus 2.5 is equal to 1. So after getting this sample mean minus mean, i-double check natin. Then next is proceed tayo sa fifth column, which is the squared of the sample mean minus mean. So i-squared lang natin to, so dapat sigurado na tayong tama yung values nito. So negative 1 squared is equal to 1. Negative 0.5 squared is equal to 0.25. 0 squared is equal to 0. Negative 1 squared is equal to 1. 0 squared is 0. 0.5 squared is 0.25. Negative 0.5 squared is equal to positive 0.25. 0 squared is equal to 0. 1 squared is equal to 1. 0 squared is equal to 0. 0.5 squared is equal to 0.25. And 1 squared is equal to 1. After natin ma-solve, is we're going to get the summation of the squared of the sample mean minus the mean. So, i-add lang natin itong 1 plus 0.25 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0.25 plus 0.25 plus 1 plus 0.25 plus 1. And this is equal to, yung atin ay is equal to 5. So, nakuha na natin yung summation of squared of the sample mean minus mean. So, now, we can get the variance. So to get the variance, this is the formula. So variance of the sample mean is equal to the summation of sample mean minus mean of the sample mean squared over the number of observation. So yung summation natin is 5 over 12 because of the number of observation. So 5 over 12 is equal to 0.42. So next is, we have now the variance. We will get the standard deviation of the sample mean. To get the standard deviation of the sample mean, is square root lang natin yung ating variance. So, the standard deviation is equal to square root of 0.42. So, square root of 0.42 is equal to 0.65. So, naka-round off na siya into 2 decimal places. So, magra-round off na tayo para hindi na lahat ng decimal numbers ay isusulat natin. So, again, the mean is equal to 2.5, the variance is 0.42, and the standard deviation is equal to 0.65. This is only for the sampling distribution. The mean, variance, and standard deviation of the sampling distribution. So, after natin makuha yan, i-review ulit. So, i-check, i-double check natin yung table, yung summation of sample mean, summation of our squared of the sample mean minus mean of the sample mean, and the mean, variance, and the standard deviation. I-double check natin. So, pag na-double check na natin, let's proceed in finding the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the population. So to find the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the population, gagamitin natin yung formula ng ating central limit theorem. So, yung mean natin is same with the, or mean of the sample mean is equal to the mean of the population. The variance is equal to variance of the sample mean is equal to the variance of the population over n. And the standard deviation is standard deviation of the sample mean is equal to standard deviation of the population over square root of n. So the observation is, meron tayong 2, which is size. Yung mean natin na 2.5. Yung variance natin na 0.42. And ang ating standard deviation na 0.65. So next is, meron na tayong data. We will compute the mean, variance, and the standard deviation. So, since sabi is equal lang naman yung mean of sample mean and the mean of the population, so therefore the mean of the population is 2.5. To get the variance is, substitute lang natin yung ating variance of the sample mean, which is 0.42, and yung n natin na size, which is 2. So, 0.42 is equal to variance of the population over 2. Then, next natin dyan is, to compute, we will cross-multiply. So, 0.42 times 2 is equal to 0.84. And, variance times 1, so over 1. So, times 1 is equal to variance. So, variance is equal to 0.84. So, next is to get the standard deviation. So, to get the standard deviation, substitute lang natin yung ating standard deviation. So, eto po yung ating standard deviation of the sample mean. So, 0.65 is equal to the variance over square root of 2, which is our size. And then, we will compute. So, square root of 2 times 0.65. So, cross-multiply tayo. Is equal to, and then variance times 1 is equal to the variance. Then our answer is, variance is equal to 0.92. So, sa next formula natin is, variance is equal to the square root, standard deviation is equal to square root of the variance of the population, since we have now the variance of the population. So, sa substitute lang natin siya, so magiging standard deviation is equal to the square root of 0.84. So, this is only 0.84. So, 0.84. And then, the answer is 0.92. So, same lang naman din siya ng sagot. So, any method pwede nyong gawin. If etong second formula, magagamit lang natin siya if we found the variance of the population. So, now, let's conclude that the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the population is 2.5. The variance is 0.84. And the standard deviation of the population is 0.92. Now, let's have the histogram. So, ito yung given natin kanina. So, this is the sample mean. So, inarrange ko siya into ascending order. And then, kinuha ko yung kanyang frequency and then probability of the sample mean. So, this is the fraction. So, 2 over 4, 2 over 12, 2 over 12, 4 over 12, 2 over 12, and 2 over 12. And then, kinonvert ko siya into a decimal number. So, 0.17, 0.17, 0.33, 0.17, and 0.17. And then now, I have here the graph, the horizontal and the vertical. So, yung horizontal natin is the sample mean. And then, yung vertical natin is the probability of the sample mean. So, ngayon, igagraph na natin. So, we have here the 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. And then, sa ating vertical line naman is 0.15, 0.20, 0.25, 0.30, 0.35. So, mas maganda if yung ating histogram is pantay-pantay yung sukat niya. So, para mas makita natin yung kanyang curve or yung graph niya. So, now, let's have the 1.5 and yung 1.5 is 0.17. So, yung 0.17 natin is, let's say, nandito. Ayan. So, yung 70 natin ay nandito. So, ayan. Next is yung 2 natin ay 17 din. 0.17. So, next is yung 2.5 natin is 0.33. So, yung 0.33 natin ay nandito. So, it's better to use your ruler. And then, next is yung ating 3, which is 0.17. And yung 3.5 natin is 0.17. So, if you can see, ang ating graph or the histogram is not approximate the normal distribution unlike the samples are selected with replacement. So, kung kanina is, or kung dun sa replacement natin is it looks like bell curve, dito kasi is dumiretso siya. So, padiretso na siya. Not unlike dun sa ating with replacement, ang curve niya is pababa. Pababa yung curve niya. Ito kasi ay pagkababa tapos dumiretso. So, ibig sabihin, eto, the sampling distribution of mean or the sample mean is hindi siya approximate sa ating normal distribution. Kasi diba, ang normal distribution natin is a bell-shaped curve. So, ganyan lang po yung pag-explain ng ating histogram.